Centuries ago, the nations of man were the undisputed rulers of Tyria, but now their time is ending. Of the three great kingdoms that once dominated the continent, Ascalon has been conquered under the brutality of the Char, or has sunk beneath the waves, and now only Kryta remains. Home to lush green fields, sparkling rivers, and bountiful coasts, the region that would become known as Kryta was first colonized by King Mazdak. A former prince of the Kingdom of Or, Mazdak left his island home to rule a nation of his own, founding the city of Lion's Arch, which served as his new capital. After centuries of independent rule, Kryta was eventually annexed by the distant Kingdom of Ilona. While Ilona would rule Kryta for only 6 decades, it helped expand the kingdom's borders into former Centaur and Tengu territories, and brought about a cultural renaissance in the region that has persisted in the ages since. When the influence of Ilona fell back beyond the Crystal Desert, Kryta regained its independence and began competing with Ascalon and Or for wealth, land, and power. Amidst economic prosperity fueled by innovation and trade, rose the guilds. In time, the power of the guilds rivaled that of Kryta itself, and when they began warring amongst themselves, no kingdom was powerful enough to intervene. 5 magic stones were at the heart of this conflict, powerful artifacts said to be crafted by the gods themselves. For centuries, the struggle continued, dragging in Kryta, Ascalon, and Or into an endless series of campaigns, battles, and wars with no clear victor. Only the arrival of the savage Char ended the guild wars, sweeping down from the north and bringing with them fire and ruin. Of the 3 human kingdoms, only Kryta was able to resist, smashing the armies of the Char and banishing them back to the north. How Kryta achieved victory where both Or and Ascalon failed has remained an enduring mystery, rumored to be either simple luck or perhaps the work of unseen gods. Regardless, Kryta was forever changed by the invasion. King Jaden, who at the time ruled over the nation, fled the throne, leaving a religious order known as the White Mantle to withstand the Char. The White Mantle grew arrogant and abusive following their victory, thriving off the wealth of the land while non-believers suffered in poverty. Brigands were hired to help control the peasantry, and the entire country was gripped in fear. Rumors quickly grew of strange sacrifices made deep within the Meguma jungle, directed, it was said, by the Mantle High Council itself. The true nature of the White Mantle and the inhuman sorcerers they worshipped was eventually exposed by a rebel group known as the Shining Blade. Together with a core of loyalists, the Shining Blade rallied behind Queen Salma, daughter of Jaden and heir to the throne. The civil war in Kryta lasted for 7 years, until the last of the White Mantle and their leader, the fanatical confessor Isaiah, were defeated in the Battle of Lion's Arch. The appointment of Queen Salma ushered in a new golden age. Refugees from Ascalon, Or, and elsewhere in the world flooded to its borders, creating a unique mix of cultures that transformed its society. The hope that humanity might expand once more across Tyria was shattered when Zatan, the elder dragon of shadow and death, finally awoke. It pulled the kingdom of Or from the depths of the sea, and the great flood that followed destroyed Lion's Arch and dozens of other shoreline towns and ports. The royal family and the people of Kryta fled to the city of Divinity's Reach, establishing a new capital where they might begin anew. Kryta has never fully recovered, and in the ages since, many of its former settlements and territories have fallen under the rule of pirates, fierce creatures, or worse. Even Lion's Arch has never been reclaimed, restored instead as a free and independent city. What remains of Kryta is now ruled by Queen Jenna, who presides over a regime known as the Ministry. Initially designed as a temporary system to maintain order over the refugees that fled to their land, it has evolved into a stable and respected government, a cornerstone of Krytan culture. The Ministry convenes in the Chamber of Ministers in the heart of Divinity's Reach. When not in session, every citizen has the right to approach the ministers here, bringing to them their concerns and sentiments. Individual ministers are elected to serve all the disparate cultures and peoples that fled to Kryta, making sure their voices are heard. In turn, ministers govern the various regions of Kryta and are responsible for all local bylaws, taxes, and other bureaucracy. The legate minister serves within the ministry's highest office and acts as a personal liaison and counterbalance to the queen. The defense and safety of Kryta is the responsibility of 3 separate military orders. The largest of these is the Seraph, known for their distinctive white armor trimmed with gold. The Seraph act as the nation's army, police force, and above all, the protectors of the people. Their detachments are present in every major town and city, their patrols on all the roads between. The second major force in Kryta is the Ministry Guard. Typically only seen in the capital, the Guard is responsible for the protection of the ministry itself and act as personal security for Krytan ministers, diplomats, and other officials. Although their jurisdiction is limited, they have the right to overrule the Seraph in matters concerning the state. Last and smallest of the orders is the Shining Blade, descendants of the rebel group who overthrew the White Mantle, now sworn to protect the royal family. Little is known of their activities, for they are a mysterious force, believed to be involved in clandestine duties and other shadowy work. Across the lands of Tyria, Kryta has become known as a shining beacon of hope for humanity. Here, displaced peoples from every former nation have put aside old rivalries and differences to unite under a common purpose. Yet with the rise of the Elder Dragons, the advance of the Char, and the ambitions of the other races, it is impossible to ignore the fact that Divinity's reach stands alone. The other human kingdoms that once ruled across the seas and deserts are now silent. If mankind has a future, it will be won by the might of Kryta. The Templin Institute investigates alternate worlds and realities. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to directly support us, vote in polls to determine future topics, and receive some cool rewards, please consider pledging to our Patreon page.